You've heard it since childhood. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? A riddle, a joke, a philosophical puzzle. But this simple question hides something deeper, something about life, evolution, and how species actually begin. Today, science has an answer, but it's not what most people expect. And more importantly, it tells us something profound about how life unfolds. This is the story of the chicken, the egg, and the evolutionary mystery they represent. A puzzle that dates back millennia. The question isn't new. Ancient thinkers like Aristotle pondered it as a paradox, a loop with no clear beginning. Plutarch called it a great and weighty problem, because it wasn't just about fall, it was about origin itself. But philosophy aside, modern biology looks at this differently, not as a riddle, but as a timeline of life. Eggs long predate chickens. To understand this, we have to go very, very far back. Eggs, in one form or another, existed long before birds even evolved. Hard-shelled eggs, like the ones we recognize, date back roughly 300 million years, arising with early amniotes, vertebrates that could lay eggs on land. That means eggs were here hundreds of millions of years before chickens evolved, even before dinosaurs roamed the earth. So if we're talking about eggs in general, defined as vessels containing and nurturing embryos, then the egg definitely came first. The chickens we know came later. Modern domesticated chickens, Gallus domesticus, have a much shorter history. They are descended from wild jungle fowl native to Southeast Asia, linked most closely to the red jungle fowl. Chickens were domesticated by humans only around several thousand years ago, long after eggs already existed. So from an evolutionary standpoint, the animals that produced eggs existed long before the species we call chickens. But what about the chicken egg itself? Here's where things get interesting. If you restrict the question to chicken eggs specifically, eggs that produce modern chickens, the answer still points to the egg. Here's why. At some point in the deep past, a bird almost, but not quite, a chicken laid an egg. Inside that egg, tiny genetic changes, mutations, aligned in just the right way. When that egg hatched, the very first true chicken emerged. That means the egg containing the first chicken came before the chicken itself. A surprising twist: egg proteins. In 2010, scientists discovered a protein called ovoclidin-17, OC-17, a molecule important for eggshell formation that appeared to be unique to chickens. At first glance, it seemed like proof the chicken must come first. But further research showed similar proteins exist in many bird species, suggesting the biological tools to make eggshells predated modern chickens. That means eggshell formation wasn't a chicken innovation. It was inherited from earlier egg-laying ancestors. From paradox to evolutionary narrative, so the scientific resolution is, eggs existed long before chickens. The earliest hard-shelled eggs evolved hundreds of millions of years ago. Modern chickens evolved much later, hatching from eggs laid by ancestors that were not quite chickens. In evolutionary terms, the egg came first. But understanding why requires stretching your mind across deep time, across millions of years of adaptation, mutation, and species emergence. More than a joke, this isn't just a silly riddle anymore. It's a window into how life evolves, not in sudden leaps, but through countless tiny changes passed down over generations, where one species transitions incrementally into another, and the thing that carries that change is often the egg itself. Every object and every living thing has a story. Most were forgotten. This was one of them. Welcome to ObjectLore.